It is not true that Gandhari cursed Lord Krishna. No one can curse God. This was made up in the Mahabharat series for TV. Gandhari never cursed Lord Krishna. This was never written by Lord Vyasdev, another form of Lord Krishna, who wrote the original Mahabharat. This is the quote from the Wikipedia. Despite its popularity, the story is not mentioned in the original version of the Mahabharata written by Vyasdev. Please watch and hear the truth from this episode, where Lord Krishna arranges for the curse of the Yadu dynasty and how he arranges for his own disappearance from Earth. In a future episode, you will see more details about his disappearance. He is still omnipresent everywhere on Earth. Everything in this YouTube is 100% accurate from the Srimad Bhagavatam, not made up like you may have seen on some of TV shows, movies, or other YouTube videos. Please be careful. Now, hear and watch the truth. Lord Krishna repeatedly demonstrated how one can achieve the objectives of religiosity, economic development, and regulated sense gratification. The demons, who had been killed in past ages in battles between the demigods and demons, took birth among human beings and arrogantly harassed the general populace. To subdue these demons, Lord Hari told the demigods to descend into the dynasty of Yadu. Because Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the Yadu dynasty of demigods accepted him as their ultimate authority. And among them, all those who were his intimate associates especially flourished. To protect the principles of devotional service to himself, Lord Krishna, the best of the Yadus, accepts the pastime forms that have been glorified here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. One who desires to faithfully serve his lotus feet should hear of the activities he performs in each of these incarnations, activities that suitably imitate those of the forms he assumes. Hearing narrations of these pastimes destroys the reactions to fruitive work. By regularly hearing, chanting, and meditating on the beautiful topics of Lord Krishna with ever-increasing sincerity, a mortal being will attain the divine kingdom of the Lord, where there is no death. Lord Sri Krishna, accompanied by Balarama and surrounded by the Yadu dynasty, executed the killing of many demons. Then the unfathomable Lord thought to himself,
"Although some may say that the earth's burden is now gone, in my opinion it is not yet gone, because there still remains the Yadu dynasty itself, whose strength is unbearable for the earth. No outside force could ever bring about the defeat of this family, the Yadu dynasty. But if I inspire a quarrel within the dynasty, that quarrel will act just like a fire created from the friction of bamboo in a grove, and then I shall achieve my real purpose and return to my eternal abode."
Lord Sri Krishna himself could detect that there was further danger from the irreligious activities of his own family members, Yadu dynasty, who were acting improperly. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that a just king will refuse to punish his own enemy if his enemy is innocent, but will punish his own son if his son actually deserves punishment. Thus, although in the eyes of the world the members of the Lord's own dynasty are always worshipable, Lord Krishna detected that by their intimate association with him some members of the Yadu dynasty had become indifferent to his will. Since such whimsical members of the Yadu dynasty could act freely, being relatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they would surely cause great misfortune for the world, and foolish persons would take such whimsical behavior to be the will of Krishna. Thus the Lord, whose desires are inconceivable, began to consider the need to annihilate the indifferent, contemptuous members of the Yadu family. When the Supreme Almighty Lord had thus made up his mind, he withdrew his own family on the pretext of a curse spoken by an assembly of Brahmins. Lord Krishna respectfully sent sages, who were in Dwarka with him, to a holy place called Paraka. To that holy place, the young boys of the Yadu dynasty had brought Samba, son of Lord Krishna, dressed in woman's garb. Playfully approaching the great sages gathered there, the boys grabbed hold of the sages' feet and impudently asked them with fake humility,
"O learned Brahmins, this black-eyed pregnant woman has something to ask you. She is too embarrassed to inquire for herself. She is just about to give birth and is very desirous of having a son. Since all of you are great sages with infallible vision, please tell us whether her child will be a boy or a girl."
Thus ridiculed by deceit, the sages became angry and told the boys,
"Fools, she will bear you an iron club that will destroy your entire dynasty."
Upon hearing the curse of the sages, the terrified boys quickly uncovered the belly of Samba, and indeed they observed that therein was an iron club. The young men of the Yadu dynasty said,
"Oh, what have we done? We are so unfortunate. What will our family members say to us?"
Speaking thus and being very disturbed, they returned to their homes, taking the club with them. The Yadu boys, the luster of their faces completely faded, brought the club into the royal assembly, and in the presence of all the Yadavas, they told King Ugrasena what had happened. When the inhabitants of Dwaraka heard of the infallible curse of the Brahmins and saw the club, they were astonished and distraught with fear. After having the club ground to bits, King Ugrasena of the Yadus personally threw the pieces, along with the remaining lump of iron, into the water of the ocean. A certain fish swallowed the iron lump, and the bits of iron, carried back to the shore by the waves, implanted themselves there and grew into tall, sharp canes. The fish was caught in the ocean along with other fish in a fisherman's net. The iron lump in the fish's stomach was taken by the hunter Jara, who fixed it as an arrowhead at the end of his shaft. Knowing fully the significance of all these events, the Supreme Lord, Krishna, though capable of reversing the Brahmin's curse, did not wish to do so. Rather, in his form of time, he gladly sanctioned the events. Sage Narad was in Dwarka. Narad Muni spoke about many important things to Vyasdev. Here are a few things Narad Muni said.
In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship Lord Krishna.
Lord Brahma then set off for Dwaraka, accompanied by his own sons as well as by the demigods and the great Prajapatis. Lord Shiva also went. Lord Indra, along with other demigods, the great sages, and other great beings arrived at the city of Dwaraka, hoping to see Lord Krishna. By his transcendental form, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, enchanted all human beings and spread his own fame throughout the worlds. The Lord's glories destroy all contamination within the universe. In that resplendent city of Dwaraka, rich with all superior opulences, the demigods beheld with unsatiated eyes the wonderful form of Sri Krishna. The demigods covered the Supreme Lord of the universe with flower garlands brought from the gardens of heaven. Then they praised him, the best of the Yadu dynasty, with statements containing charming words and ideas. Here are a few of the many praises.
Our dear Lord, advanced mystic yogis, striving for liberation from the severe bondage of material work, meditate with great devotion upon your lotus feet within their hearts. Dedicating our intelligence, senses, vital air, mind and power of speech to your lordship, we demigods bow down at your lotus feet. O Lord, you are the supreme creator of this universe and the ultimate controller of all moving and non-moving living entities. You are Ki, the supreme controller of all sensory activity, and thus you never become contaminated or entangled in the course of your supervision of the infinite sensory activities within the material creation. The nectar-bearing rivers of discussions about you, and also the holy rivers generated from the bathing of your lotus feet, are able to destroy all contamination within the three worlds. Those who are striving for purification associate with the holy narrations of your glories by hearing them with their ears, and they associate with the holy rivers flowing from your lotus feet by physically bathing in them.
Lord Brahma said,
My dear Lord, previously we requested you to remove the burden of the earth. O unlimited personality of Godhead, that request has certainly been fulfilled. My Lord, you have re-established the principles of religion among pious men who are always firmly bound to the truth. You have also distributed your glories all over the world, and thus the whole world can be purified by hearing about you. Descending into the dynasty of King Yadu, you have manifested your unique transcendental form, and for the benefit of the entire universe, you have executed magnanimous transcendental activities. My dear Lord, those pious and saintly persons who in the age of Kali hear about your transcendental activities and also glorify them will easily cross over the darkness of the age. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O my Lord, you have descended into the Yadu dynasty, and thus you have spent 125 autumns with your devotees. My dear Lord, there is nothing remaining at this time for your lordship to do on behalf of the demigods. You have already withdrawn your dynasty by the curse of the Brahmins. O Lord, you are the basis of everything, and if you so desire, kindly return now to your own abode in the spiritual world. At the same time, we humbly beg that you always protect us. We are your humble servants, and on your behalf we are managing the universal situation. We, along with our planets and followers, require your constant protection.
I understand your prayers and request. Having removed the burden of the earth, I have executed everything that was required on your behalf. That very Yadu dynasty in which I appeared became greatly magnified in opulence, especially in their physical strength and courage, to the extent that they threatened to devour the whole world. Therefore I have stopped them, just as the shore holds back the great ocean. If I were to leave this world without withdrawing the overly proud members of the Yadu dynasty, the whole world would be destroyed by the deluge of their unlimited expansion. Now, due to the Brahmana's curse, the annihilation of my family has already begun. O sinless Brahma, when this annihilation is finished and I am en route to Vaikuntha, I will pay a small visit to your abode.
Then, Lord Brahma bowed down in obeisances at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, along with the other demigods. Surrounded by all the demigods, Brahma left Dwarka. Stay tuned to see what happens next. In the meantime, please read the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam translated from Sanskrit by Srila Prabhupada. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Lord Krishna and Radharani bless you. Hare Krishna.